Hello, I'm Sevil Mikhailova.
And I'm Claude Salhani, and this is This Week in Focus. Thank you for joining us this week. We have with us a very interesting person, the French ambassador, or should I say the former French ambassador, as he is leaving in a couple of days, probably left by now, who has been here, Mr. Ambassador, for
3 years and a half already. I arrived on the 10th of May 2012. So it's a very symbolic date because it's the date of the anniversary of Heydar Aliyev, and it's also the date of the anniversary of the first election of the Socialist Party with François Mitterrand in France. And as a matter of fact, I had been appointed by Nicolas Sarkozy because the process started in January 2012, and I arrived after the election. So I've asked new credentials from President Hollande, and I even said to the Azerbaijani government that you will have in front of you an ambassador which has been appointed by two presidents, so it's well representing both the right part and the left part of France.
And looking back at your term here, words of wisdom, what do you walk away with?
I think, well, everybody who comes to Azerbaijan for the first time is fascinated by the dynamism of the country. What I like the most is the people. A country is both nature and people. But people of Azerbaijan are very friendly and very sincere. So I have a lot of friends here, and it is the most things I will be regretting is my friends. But with internet and with flight distance to Paris, only 5 hours, it's rather easy to keep in touch. In addition, you have a beautiful country. We are working presently with the French travel agencies on what we call inbound tourism to increase French tourists coming to Azerbaijan. And I'm part of a working group in this matter. And maybe, as I will have some free time in France before being appointed to the next post, I will continue to work on this with my friends, because I think that your country has a lot of potential, and we can easily double the number of French people coming here.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Ambassador, so you have been in this position for over 3 years, and as a diplomat you had some duties maybe or commitments, and you have been appointed by two presidents, as you said before. So how do you think, have you been able to achieve all these duties or commitments put by your government?
Yes. Well, if I say yes, I will be pretentious, yes? So I will say that I'll make all my efforts to achieve these results. What I did, first I think the main achievement is a change of mutual perception. When I arrived, I didn't feel in Azerbaijan a lot of, let's say, friendly relationships to France, mainly in the population. I was a little bit shocked, and I mentioned it to the government, because I attended the World Championship of soccer players. It was women under 17 years old, so it was young women. And our team was in the final against North Korea. And we won, yeah. But each time that the French team was going to mark a goal, there was whistling. And each time the North Korean team was approaching our goal, there was clapping. So it shocked me a little bit, and I tried to understand. So I asked after different people, and they said, because France is perceived as non-fair in the Nagorno-Karabakh process, it's felt as Armenian. So I think one of my achievements is to have changed this perception, because France is as much friendly to Azerbaijan as it is to Armenia. And to become friendly, you have to be very active. So I've been participating in a lot of events, and we try to create the strategic partnership between France and Azerbaijan in different spheres, because it's very easy to say we have a strategic partnership, but without substance it doesn't mean anything. Of course, it has to start with political dialogue. So I arrived in May 2012. President Aliyev had a visit in France in September 2012, and I went at this occasion in Paris, and he met our president. It was for the inauguration of the Islamic department of Le Louvre, to the creation of which Azerbaijan has financially participated. Then our president came in May 2014, and again in April 25, and I attended all these meetings. So the relationship between the two presidents, for me, is very confident. Yeah? They know now each other, they met a lot of hours, and I think they appreciate each other. This is very important because it gives impulse to the rest. After, as I've been working in a company before, so I like business development. I like to put people in touch with each other. Azerbaijan is a fast-growing economy, a lot of infrastructure projects. Now it's a bit frozen after the oil crisis, but at the time it was completely booming. So I contacted all my friends in France in the companies and said, you have never come to Azerbaijan, please come and you will see. Because people, I don't know, it is surprising for me because internet exists, you can look at Azerbaijan, you have the photos, every European Games, everybody could see a beautiful Baku. But people have still the impression that Baku is a Baku of 20 years, of 10 years ago, and not Baku of today. But each time they come and they say, and then they come again. So it was maybe one of my major achievements is to bring people here and then to help them to develop their activities. And third, but not least in the education system, because what is important is the future of a country, and future is based on education. And we are very proud that the Minister of Education, Mr. Jabarov, has chosen France, or one, is not only France, but one of his partners to implement his reform. And Sorbonne University, with his Abu Dhabi affiliated Sorbonne Abu Dhabi, is taking a large role in training people. We have trained directors of schools, we have trained Sabah professors, and it will continue like this. And on the other hand, we will create, as you know, a joint Franco-Azerbaijani university. The process is going on, and it will be my last maybe official action, because on Monday, a delegation of about 10 people coming from France will take part in the kick-off meeting, and we will have a meeting with Mr. Jabarov.
The relationship between France and Azerbaijan has not been always very smooth. There's been ups and downs,
yes.
and some tumultuous times.
Yes.
What's your feeling on that?
I think, well, one of the most sensitive issues in our relations is Nagorno-Karabakh. Yeah? As I said, maybe because France is a Catholic country, because we have a large Armenian diaspora, 500,000 Armenians are living in France. So maybe because of that, people think that we are pro-Armenians. And I think that today, not only the government, but also the population understand that France is a friendly nation for Azerbaijan. I have doubled the numbers of visa delivered to Azerbaijani people in 3 years' time. Now it's rather easy, and not, I would say, even very easy to get a visa to go to France.
So over the past years, Azerbaijan and France, in fact, developed their relationships in the sphere of culture, education, and we saw very many events held in both countries. So what can you tell us about it?
It's very important because, you know, well, France is known in Azerbaijan. I think there have been a lot of interest at the Soviet period. Today, things have been changing thanks to the action of the First Lady and my colleague in Paris, because they visited a lot of cities. For instance, in Cannes, I remember I made an interview, it was in July 2014 on ITV, and they brought very kindly Natik, the Natik drums group for this interview, and they were just coming back from Cannes. And already for 2 years, Azerbaijan is taking part in the fireworks festival of Cannes in July, and now it's part. I think it's part of the festival. So in different cities, in Cognac, in Reims, well, in many French cities, in Colmar, which has now links with Sheki, and there will be, I think, during winter some Azerbaijanese. Booths in Colmar, as there was a Azerbaijani village in Paris. So the presence of Azerbaijan is bigger. And for the French people, there is not at all any, let's say, unfriendly attitude. On the contrary, I think they are very interested because they don't know, and they discover your music, Bulgarian music, your traditions, your cuisine. For me, is a very high-level cuisine. Azerbaijani gastronomy is a very high level, and I think the French people will like it. So I'm very much appreciating the efforts of the First Lady, and I think it really contributes to friendship between the two nations, because it is linked with the people, not only with the governments, it links with the people as such. Yeah.
What is your big regret in leaving Azerbaijan? What, something you would have liked to see happen that hasn't happened, that you tried to do that?
Well, my biggest frustration is that not all the contracts that was on the, let's say, there was under preparation has not been signed. It's true that, but it's not necessarily the fault of Azerbaijan, because the oil price fast dropping has been an element in the freezing of some projects. But this for me is a frustration, because I worked a lot with the clients, so with Azerbaijan institutions, the companies, the government, and with our French technology providers, in order to bring very strong, substantial cooperation. And some of, let's say, of my babies, if I can call them my babies, these collective babies, have been a little bit stopped or frozen. So it's a part of frustration, but my successor will have certainly the happiness to see the birth of the baby, because it's a continuing process, and I like her very much. The woman is Aurélia Boucher. She will be arriving on the 27th of October, or she will have arrived. This website show is shown after, and she's very enthusiastic to come here. She has been ambassador in Astana as EU ambassador, but as French ambassador, so she's already well.
She's a Russian speaker.
She's a Russian speaker. She has been the head of the Eastern Europe division in Paris a long time ago, so I think she's well prepared, and she has been preparing herself since she knows that she's coming here. That means since this summer, so she will be operational from the first day.
And returning back to the Azerbaijan-France relationship, so you are leaving this position, and you will be replaced soon by another ambassador, as you mentioned before. So what about the current status of Azerbaijan-France relations, so in particular in the humanitarian field? What will inherit your
legacy?
successor?
Yeah. Well, a lot of actions have been taken in the humanitarian field. So I will start with education. Education, first we have a French school, now which is quite operational with a lot of teachers. It has become a very attractive school, because the French education system is very high, and now we have more than 8 French teachers from France, and people are very happy. Then, since my arrival, we have multiplied the commitments, cooperation between universities. We have organized what we call Campus France department within our institute, so the students can come, I think twice a week, and meet somebody of the embassy who will explain where to go to make which studies. We have organized for the first time in Paris last January a big forum with more than 12 rectors. Rectors of University of Azerbaijan came to France for this reason. So relations have been increased dramatically, and this joint French-Azerbaijani will be very structuring. The President Aliyev pays a lot of attention to this, and my President also. So I think for my successor it will be our main target, to put this project on track. It was the same. I inherited from my predecessor the creation of the French school, but when I arrived there was no French school, so I had to put it on track. It's not that easy, because you have always problems. Can come from visa, for instance, because you're not. I know that I'm very frank. So it's not that easy to get a visa to come to work to Azerbaijan. So it has to be well prepared. But I'm sure that it will be very smooth, because it interests of the both countries to do it. Then in the cultural scene, we had a big exhibition, if you remember, Plaisir de France, which was made by my predecessor. During my stay, there was an exhibition of photographs. We had also a song festival organized by Degel Prod, very successful one. And I think that it will be continuing like this. The interest for French culture is very high, and in France, the interest for Azerbaijan is growing. So there is a base for good cooperation. We have good cooperation with Yarat, with Minister Garayev. So I'm quite optimistic for the future.
And I would like to ask to speak here about the most painful problem of Azerbaijan, Nagorno-Karabakh conflict. So you are well familiar with the history of the conflict, and you are representing the country, which is a co-chair and is working in the resolution of this conflict. What can you tell us? How, to what extent, you are optimistic about the resolution of this conflict?
Yeah. First, I will say that my president himself has involved personally himself into the resolution of this conflict. He has hosted in Paris a summit. It was October last year, which was quite a promising one because both presidents, with our president, agreed on a roadmap, and they had also a dinner during which they were discussing other issues, and it was a very friendly dinner. So atmosphere seemed to be, let's say, on a good level of mutual respect, mutual understanding. So we were at that time optimistic that it will develop into the start of let's say, of a dynamic and positive process for the peaceful settlement of the conflict. Unfortunately, it was not the case. You know, life is made by different incidents, but it's not a reason for us to be discouraged. I think each time my president meets President Aliyev, he discusses about this. Our co-chairs are coming very regularly. They will come just the day of my departure. Unfortunately, I will miss Pierre-André, who I like very much, but Aurélia will meet him, and now it is our job to continue our actions. So our co-chairs will continue to work on this. There has been appeal both from President Putin, from President Hollande, from President Obama. So I think the three countries at the highest level are involved. But the solution, I think, both parts know the parameters of the solution. The problem is to start. Yeah, I think sometimes you have a vision, and maybe you want everything to be solved before really starting the process. It's up to the countries, Armenia and Azerbaijan, to decide the way they want to do.
Ambassador Pascal Meunier, thank you very much for your participation, and we wish you a better tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cyril, thank you, my dear Claude. Sok Sahol.